Hey, it's Mrs. Golding, and I am working on your Friday paper 16. I'm going to go through some of these problems with you, and I tried to double up the problems, so the ones that I do will help you do the next problem. So for here, I'm going to do problem number 5, and then you're going to be able to do problem number 6. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. Let's go ahead. Let's choose that color. Says write an equation in slope-intercept form, okay? And for the line that passes through this point right here and has this slope, okay? So you'll remember, see if I can get that to cooperate. Slope-intercept form looks like this. Y equals mx plus b, okay? And in this case, the m is the slope, the b is the y-intercept. So that's where the line crosses the y-axis. The x and the y in this slope-intercept form are just points on the line. Okay, so we have the points and we have the slope, but what are we missing? We're missing the y-intercept, right? So what we can do is just plug in what we know. What's the y? That's the 9, right? So we're going to plug in 9 equals, what's the slope, which is m? That's 2. And then when you have an m right next to the x, that tells you you're going to multiply, right? And the x value is right here, 1 plus b, right? So now we're going to solve for b. So let's go ahead. 9 equals 2 times 1 is 2 plus b. How do we isolate the variable? In this case, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. 7 equals b. So now we know the b, which is the y-intercept. We know the slope. And so that's what we use to write our equation. I'm going to change colors just so you can see it better. So I'm going to circle the y-intercept, and I'm going to circle the slope because that's what we need, right? Let's go ahead and write it. Y equals m x plus 7. And I say plus 7 because it's a positive 7. If it was a negative number here for b, we would put minus whatever that is. Okay? All right. Then you can do number 6 in the same way. Let's go here to number 7. So this time it's not giving us the slope, but it's giving us 2 points. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form. I'm going to go ahead and write that up here. For the line that passes through the following points. And here's the hint. It says find the slope first. Okay, so to find the slope between 2 points, remember we have an x and a y and an x and a y, and we can call this x sub 1. Oops, undo that. Y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. It's just like giving them little names so you can tell them apart. And so we can do change in y, which is, let's take this y and subtract the other y. And we're going to put that over change in x. So we have this first x, and then we're going to subtract the other x. Okay, so then let's plug in these numbers. Y sub 2 is 2 minus a negative 6. Negative 6 is the y sub 1. We're going to make it like a fraction. And then x sub 2 is negative 1 minus 3. Okay, let's go ahead and solve. 2 minus a negative 6 is like 2 plus 6. That's 8. And negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. 8 divided by negative 4 is a negative 2. So now we have the m. So m equals negative 2. Okay, So now we need the b. So just like we did on the previous problem, we're going to write down what we know. Y equals, and I'm going to get rid of this so you don't think I'm doing this problem, mx plus b. And so far we don't know the y-intercept, but we do know, we know 2 points that we could put in here. I'm going to use the second point, which is this one right here. And I do that because the numbers are smaller. That's all. I shouldn't say that. The absolute value of the numbers are smaller. And it just makes it easier. So I'm going to put that y in. So that's the 2 that came from right here. That's a y equals, and the m is right here, -2, and the x is right here. I can't choose a y from this one and an x from the other one. That's not allowed. So then I'm going to put the x value here plus b, and we're going to solve. 2 equals -2 times -1, 2 plus b, right? Let's subtract 2 from both sides because we want to isolate our variable. These are additive inverses, and so are these. So we get 0 equals b. So these two lines will cross the y-axis at 0, or the origin. So that's a piece of information that we needed. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to write this answer. Okay, for number 7, y equals, and what was my m? Right over here, -2. So y equals -2x, and is it plus 0, minus 0? Either way, it doesn't change anything, right? So we really don't need it. So we're just going to leave it y equals -2x. Okay? Now you do number 8. That one's going to be done the same way. It is a lot of work, but you can do that for sure. All right. This one, number 9, says, and this is really 9 and 10, you're going to get 2 here. Find the x and y-intercept of 3x plus 5y equals 15. So this is an equation of a line, and it goes, but it doesn't look like this. Y equals mx plus b, right? So the one that I just wrote is slope-intercept form. This one is in what's called standard form. Ax plus by equals c. Okay, so slope-intercept and then standard form. So it doesn't really matter because here's what we do to find the x-intercept. Y equals 0. To find the y-intercept, or where the line crosses the y-axis, that's when x equals 0. Okay? Because if you think about it, if you're on the y-axis and you were trying to say what this point is, it would be some number like 3, 0. No? 0, 3, right? 0, 3. If you're going this way, it would be some number, -3, 0, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let's find the x-intercept first. So that's when y equals 0. So let's just put 3x plus 5, and let's make y 0. Okay? Notice I just said y is 0. Let's solve it. 3x plus 0. Do I need that? Not really. Equals 15. Subtract 0 from both sides. Not necessary, right? So we're going to say 3x equals 15. Divide by 3. So x equals 5. So that's the x-intercept when y equals 0. So the way you're going to write that over here, y equals 0 when x equals 5. Y equals 0 when x equals 5, or x equals 5 when y equals 0. Isn't that what we just did? Right there. Now let's do the other one. So we're going to go ahead and write it again. 3x. I'm sorry. Let's go back up here. Back. This time we're going to find the y-intercept, and that's when x equals 0. So x equals 0, 3x, x equals 0, plus 5y equals 15. Okay? So 3 times 0 is 0. So I'm left with 5y equals 15. Divide by 5. So y equals 3. So y equals 3. Y equals 3 when x equals 0. Okay? And so you got to remember something here. When you have an ordered pair, the first number is the x value, the second number is the y value. You have to remember that in order to get this right. Okay? All right, let's go here. So on this one, we're going to do number 15. Instead of 14, I'm going to do 15 because this one's a little challenging. So find the slope of the line that passes through these points. So we're going to use our slope formula. Okay, change. Remember that triangle means change in y. Change over change in x. Change in x. Okay, so let's plug in some numbers here. I like to always start here, right? It's my starting point. So I say 8 minus 4. Those are the y values, right? Change. Then I go to the x values. Back to this one, negative 3 minus a negative 3. Okay? So I have 8 minus 4 is 4. Negative 3 minus a negative 3. That's just going to be 0, right? I am not allowed to divide by 0. And the reason is, every division problem you can undo with multiplication, except when you try to divide by 0. Because the way you would undo this is to say 0 times what gives me 4. It doesn't work, right? It just doesn't work because 0 times anything is 0. So we're going to say the answer to this one is undefined. Undefined. In my classroom, I don't know if you'll remember this, but there's a poster near my desk. It's green, and it says, "This is okay." And this one says no. That one's a red sign. That helps you remember that it's okay to have 0 divided by something. It's not okay to divide by 0. Okay? Then the slope becomes undefined. And in that case, when you graph a slope that is undefined, you're going to end up with a line that goes straight up and down. All right? All right, let's go here. Oops, too far. Go back. Okay, so number 16 says write an equation in slope-intercept form. Whenever I read that, I just write it because I'm like, okay, I know what that is. From the graph below. Okay, so what is the graph telling us? So instead of just giving us numbers, it actually gives us the picture, which helps me a lot. So I know that the slope of this line can be found by finding rise over run. So I'm going to find from here to here, here to here. And what I'm trying to find is 2 points on the line that I can count the slope of, right? So I go up from here, 1, 2, so rise 2, and run negative, right? Because I'm going left, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. That's my m, right? Can I simplify that? M equals negative half. Could I have said m equals 1 over negative 2? Absolutely. Same thing, right? So now, do I know my b? My b is where my line crosses the y-axis, right? So this is the y-axis. So I'm going to find the point right here where this line crosses the y-axis. And that's at a positive 4, right? So a positive 4. Let's make b red. Okay? So now we have enough to write this equation. We're going to say y equals, and what's m? Negative 1/2 x. And it's a positive 4, right? So we put plus 4. I love linear equations. I think it's fun. Once it clicks, it really clicks and it stays with you. All right, that's all I've got for today. I'm going to put this here. Love you. Miss you. Okay? I really do miss you guys. And don't forget, say to yourself, I'm important and the world needs me. And so does Miss Golding. Have a good day.